Alright, round one of our triple, no, of our Ravnica Guildpact rough drafts. And I guess this is fine. No black mana yet, but playing some Grixis control, essentially. Alright, so island, go. We can play the turn 3 Torch Drake, which is fine. Alright, we gotta go mountain here into Signet. Would like to get the Aqueduct down, but I don't think the time is yet. We probably actually have to wait and play Torch Drake first. I think that makes more sense than doing nothing and playing Aqueduct next turn. Opponent's going to bounce their forest for Is It Boilerworks. And they have to discard as a result. Another Torch Drake? Well, that's not bad. We get to Torch Drake. They discarded a Graveshell Scarab. Wow, they are going deep on the mana cost. Dredges back for 1, 4 for 5, sack it, draw a card. So that's not bad. So next turn we can play another Torch Drake and play the Dimir Aqueduct. And just go on the Torch Drake beatdown plan. Man, that is such a mana cost for what we've seen out of their deck. Now, Spectral Searchlight, that helps. So they are pretty clearly at least 4 colors, maybe 5 colors. So let's get in with Torch Drake. Play our second Torch Drake. We might be able to just beat him down with Torch Drakes. Dimir Aqueduct, bounce the island. Because we might want to play this mountain for double pump next turn. We can double pump and play our Roofstalker right. And just go with the flying beatdown plan. And then we have this last gasp to kill something of our opponents. Ooh, they dredge back their Scarab. Milligolgari Rot Farm. Well, our opponent is definitely going deep on the colors. That much is very certain. Swamp. Searchlight. Such a weird card. Choose a player. That player adds 1 mana of any color he or she chooses to his or her mana pool. And there's the Graveshell Scarab. So our opponent gets to start attacking. That's a very sweet draw. That means we don't have to get our opponent to 0. We can just get them close to 0 and then kill them with Invoke. So I think the plan here is pump a Torch Drake, pump a Torch Drake, swing for 6, play Roofstalker right, pass the turn. So right now we can invoke for 1, 2, 4 once we play this island. So we're potentially like 2 turns away from killing our opponent. We'll take 4 from this Graveshell Scarab. Our opponent's going to need something to slow down our offense. And they don't know about this Invoke. Ooh, another land. Alright. Well, mountain. Swing with the team. Let's pump a Torch Drake. Pump the other Torch Drake. Make sure we split it up in case they have a removal spell. Leave up this mana in case they kill one. Spectral Searchlight adds mana. Green. Scatter the seeds. Alright, in that case, we'll just give our Roofstalker flying. Hit our opponent to 4, which we have them lethal in multiple ways. And our opponent scoops it up. Sweet. Well, Torch Drake is getting it done. Do we want to change anything in the sideboard? I don't think we have anything. Well, actually, Videlkin Plotter could be sweet. They have a ton of bounce lands. Let's go down to Rune Boggle. Exchange control of target land you control and target land your opponent controls. Exchanging control of a basic for a bounce land is actually a pretty big deal. And Runeboggle is borderline. Oh, well, we can't keep this. Wouldn't keep a one-lander anyway, but you definitely can't keep one bounce land. Alright, I mean, this isn't great, but it's better than the last one. We have a couple flyers we can play. We have a Last Gasp. And we have all our colors. Tron. Yeah, we'll keep Disembowel as well. So we kind of just want to do the same thing as last time. Curve out with flyers. Back them up with removal and win. There's the bounce land. Maybe Disembowel was greedy. If they're just playing big creatures, it's going to be hard to kill anything. In the late game, though, it definitely gets better. Island into our Roofstalker, right? Opponent, Wild Canter. Not very good. Sack it to add 1 mana of any color to your mana pool. Well, we're going to hold off on attacking and play our wee Dragonauts. I'm not going to just slam this into a Wild Canter. Opponent's probably going to sack it for mana anyway. I don't think that that's a card you really want to be playing. Even in like a 4 or 5 color deck, I wouldn't really consider this something you want in your deck. I think we're in good shape, and we got to invoke the Firemind again, which will hopefully close out the game when we cast it. What's our opponent have? Cruel Warplow. Creatures you control have trample, pay 3, becomes a 4/4 artifact until end of turn. You need to pay green for it, though. We draw another land. Well, let's give that flying. Play the land. Do we want to Disembowel Wild Canter? It lets us get in for more damage with wee Dragonauts, and it keeps our opponent lower on mana. That doesn't seem worth it, though. Let's just attack for 3. And pass the turn. Leave up our Last Gasp and our Disembowel. X1. It's actually a really good way to kill this Warplow. Ooh, interesting. At the beginning of each player's upkeep, that player sacks a creature. If that player can't, sacrifice Woebringer Demon. Alright. If we I think we got to Disembowel now. Or actually, do we Last Gasp? Let's Last Gasp. Because we got to make sure we don't want that out there for our opponent to be able to sack. Because we're going to have to sack a creature here. And then we want our opponent to have to sacrifice their Woebringer Demon. So we just pass. Another reason to Last Gasp is we can kill this for 1 mana. So if our opponent goes to activate, they activate Warplow. And then we just Oh. We can't. Never mind. That didn't work the way I thought. Its converted mana cost is still 4, even though it's an artifact. Alright, so our opponent gets to sack the Warplow, which is fine. I still think we played this alright. Then we just chump here, and our opponent's going to have to sacrifice the Woebringer. Sacks Woebringer. Let's see what we draw here. Ogre Savant. Well, we can just invoke X3? Yeah, we probably got to do that. Let's just invoke, draw X cards. Would like to cast it for more than X3, but X3 is still decent. Alright. All action. Except for the Signet, but the Signet lets us cast our Pillory, which is also really good. Burning Tree Bloodscale. 2/2, target creature can't block it, and target creature blocks a Defable. Well, I think we're probably just going to Ogre Savant it. Actually, 1, 2, play that. 1, 2, 3. Yeah, let's just play our Signet. And then Ogre Savant to bounce that Bloodscale. Make our opponent recast it again next turn. And then after they recast it, we can either Pillory it or Disembowel it. Opponent has 4 cards in hand, but they've been bouncing lands. There's the Bloodscale again. Do they have something else to go with it? No. Aqueduct. Well, we got to do something about this Bloodscale. I guess we can just Pillory it. Can't attack or block. Activated abilities can't be activated. Now we can attack with our Ogre Savant. Play our Torch Drake. Aqueduct, bouncing a mountain, I guess. Actually, let's bounce an island in case we want draw a mountain and want to pump our Torch Drake. Opponent starts losing a life from the Pillory. They lose a life every upkeep. Alright, Skarg the Rage Bits. Gives a creature +1/+1 and trample until end of turn for, what, 2 and a red or green and tap. Kind of like the original Kessig Wolf run. Vigor Mortis gets back Woebringer. Well, it is a little annoying. This is what? At the beginning of each player's upkeep. So we're going to have to sack our Ogre Savant. And then Disembowel to kill Woebringer. One, two, three, four, five. We need 6 mana. So let's just Disembowel, kill the Woebringer. Attack with our Torch Drake. Play Aqueduct or our Dimir Infiltrator. Pass the turn. We didn't really want the Woebringer to live because it actually lets them sack their Burning Tree Bloodscale, which is going to kill our opponent pretty quick. Is it Scatter the Seeds? Oh, this is a lot of mana. Worm? Siege Worm, maybe? I guess it could be Chord of Calling. They opened a Chord of Calling. Chord X8. Well, let's see what our opponent can find with their Chord of Calling. Wow, what a mana base our opponent has going on. Alright, they get a Golgari Rotworm, which at least lets them sack their Burning Tree Bloodscale, but can we just kill them? Not quite. Maybe. Because we can peel that. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Pump Torch Drake. Pump Torch Drake to the max. So we get to hit for 6. Let's just play the island and pass. They can sack their blood scale, that's fine. We still just have lethal, and we have Peel from Reality backup. If our opponent tries to kill our flyer or something. Well, there goes our Peel. We can't really do much about that. I guess if they have a removal spell, they might have a slight chance. They can kill our Torch Drake, sack their Burning Tree blood scale. Alright, Clinging Darkness. It keeps it from attacking. Our opponent's out of cards. Actually, it's only -2, so we can actually still attack if we pump a ton. Actually, a mountain, I think, wins us the game. Island. Alright, we attack with both. We gotta make sure we tap properly. Oops. Why does it keep doing that? Alright, there we go. Pump it thrice. So -1, 0, 1. Hit our opponent to 1. They gotta sack the Burning Tree blood scale, or they die on their upkeep. And then they need to either kill us or find a way to deal with both of our creatures, which should be challenging. If it was just one creature, maybe, but pretty sure we got this. And there it is. Sweet. Alright. Our Grixis control deck didn't look all that controlling that game, but it played out pretty well. We won fairly easily. Alright, we will be back with round 2 of our Ravnica Guildpact Rough Drafts.